Let's do
Did you put it out or am I putting it out?
You're putting it out.
Let's do
I'm locked out of the
let's do a shorter.
Who am I retweeting?
Me.
Give me 1 second. I thought. Oh, you tweeted something, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we recap, let's just do a shorter recap of everything that we've done to this point.
I agree. Also, we really got to make sure the Audacity works this time because, man, did last episode sound like shit.
We cannot put up any more episodes with the stream audio. It is really embarrassingly bad.
Okay, so is that something that is my fault?
The last time, yes.
Okay, how do I fix that, guys?
You just got to make sure that your mic is going with Audacity.
Also, because I know sometimes it's like it's your fault, but it's not your fault. It's just on your end. I know sometimes Audacity crashes on you. And the way we can make that a bit better is if, like, close out any, like, excess programs, especially, like, Chrome tabs. If you have a shit ton of Chrome tabs open. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm on Meg's computer, which is more finely tuned than mine. I already just went ahead and started, like, recording an Audacity file.
Okay.
So it's just going, so I'm not fucking around with it, okay?
Okay, can I just go ahead and start with QuickTime here?
Yeah, let's all just fucking do it.
I'll give us a countdown real quick here. Ethan, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh.
Okay. Hi, everybody in the chat.
Is brought to you by shit sounding better. Shit sounding good.
Yeah, everybody fucking pray that their mic holds up, Jesus.
We got Tyler back in the chat.
Tyler,
do you guys hear fuzzy noise? Oh man, I'm about to turn my shit down.
Griffin, you've got some support in the chat for your top knot, which is a little more than we could say last week.
Thank you, folks. Top knot. You know what? It's not a stream without the top knot. Let me grab a hair tie real quick. Oh man, I got this.
It's totally a stream without the top knot.
Look at this text scrolling at the bottom. What?
This
is perfect because I'm on ecstasy right now.
This is. I want everyone to know that, like, while I am in full support of the outfit that I'm wearing, and I'm not making any excuses for it, and I love it. The sunglasses are only because my stupid ass broke my fucking glasses, and I am without contacts, and so the only way I can see is with my prescription sunglasses. And so I was like, well, if I'm gonna be the douchebag wearing sunglasses, then I might as well be like wearing a gold chain and a flat brim cap with, like, then fuck it. Might as well just like.
I like it. I'm in.
You're so close to the look, Brian. You gotta flip your cap around.
But then it gets in the way of the camera up here that I have to use for drawing.
All right. So are we live?
Yeah, we're live. I want to say something to the people in the chat. Every single one of you, put this all on social media. Get your friends to come and smash the shit out of that like button.
Dude, you gotta smash it.
If I see people not smashing it, we're just gonna end this thing.
Dude, you gotta smash it. You gotta smash it so fucking hard, dude.
Look, right now we have 3 likes. That's only 3 smashes. And I don't even know if those were smashes. Those may have been light likes.
That's ridiculous. All right. So we are we are back. Thank you guys for coming back to whatever the hell the thing there is that we're calling this. I think that Ryan and I have started to edge more towards the other kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has just like more of a forgotten kids, like the other side of town. That's something we can get around to later on, whatever. But let me just walk us through the simple premise, and we'll make it real simple because everyone's here kind of knows what's going on.
Real quick, last week you were really set on wallflowers. Are you digging other kids more than wallflowers?
I think I am, because wallflowers sounds too soft.
Yeah.
And also it's not representative of the kind of kids that we're dealing with. Like the idea of a wallflower in context is a shy kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And these
Yeah.
aren't these aren't. I mean, some of them are, right. But I think like the other kids is something that we're
Yeah.
leading more towards. We had also batted around firebrands.
Which is almost there.
It which is almost it's almost kind of tight, but it is also really, really 90s extreme, you know.
Yeah.
And we don't really don't, we kind of don't want to go that way. But again, that's a problem for other kids is better. People already liking other kids. So that's cool. So let me just walk this through really quick, and then we'll get into the characters. What we're doing here is what you're seeing is a behind-the-scenes sequence of Ryan Stegman and I, along with Ethan and Griff, build a superhero universe from the bottom floor up. Something that you don't get to see on any other podcast, any other kind of thing. Imagine if a band did a podcast where every episode was them building a song from the ground up, right?
Yeah, except the band members were cool.
Yeah. And didn't hate each other as much as we all hate each other secretly. So you're getting to see the process that happens at Marvel, at DC, on indie books, on all that kind of stuff. But you're seeing it live in real time. You'll see us change. You'll see us fuck up. You'll see us, argue over stuff. You'll see people chime in and ideas form in real time. The story that we
Can I say something real quick? I just want to say, this is literally what Donnie and I did with Marvel yesterday, like with all of editorial at Marvel. We did this on Zoom because we can't go there, but this is the exact way that it pretty much operates.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool, Ryan. What did you guys talk about with Marvel?
I don't know. Let me get Oliver in here to spoil everything I'm working on.
Just nothing that would be interesting to you guys, but yeah. This is essentially, I remember when I was a kid, I think about like what are those guys doing in there and how they come up with that kind of stuff. Well, this is it. And it especially helps that we're all friends and that Ryan and I have been working together for so long that you're able to see just how easy this can be. And if we can do it, then all of you guys can do it. And that's kind of the point of the podcast, is to show that while Ryan and I have been doing it for probably a little bit longer than some of you just starting out, every great thing that you love has just started out with two people or more sitting around talking about, hey, wouldn't that be a dope thing? Mm-hmm. And my motto in life and my advice that I've always given to kids is, whenever you think of a cool idea, instead of saying, man, someone should make that, just replace someone with I should. And that will lead you to where you want to go. So that's what we're doing here. And what we're doing here is we're creating a superhero universe kind of a thing. Basically, the very simplified backstory, because a lot of you have heard it before, and we're trying to boil it down, is that we live in a world that is a lot like a Marvel world, where there is a Justice League, Avengers, big type of a character, and but they're kind of the only ones. Like, there's like kind of like one superhero team, and they derive their powers from this totem that is made up of 6 pieces, and they each have one. Well, at the beginning of our book, that team comes undone because they get into a big fight with their version of their big bad, their dark side, their Thanos, whatever the hell it is, who wants this totem for himself. The fight collapses into a gym. Not a gym. I'm sorry. A high school where the last surviving superhero collects all the gems from all the pieces of the totem and collects them all into one thing. And before he or she dies and the totem explodes, falls into a detention room where bad kids are, and those pieces fly out and they hit all these kids. And all these kids get a piece of the powers, and the powers are a bit of a wish. Those pieces that they get kind of turn them into a bit of a wish fulfillment kind of a thing. So each of them, the powers they turn into is a representation of who they are, who they wish they could be, who they might have we'll see as we go along. And obviously there's 5 of them. Well, there's actually 6 of them, but we'll go into that. But the mysterious 6th piece goes into our big bad guy, who is the principal, Principal Martin, who we've shown in the past, who, I'm not going to go, if you want more information about Principal Martin, you can go and listen to the first episode about that. But
here, I'm going to show him on the screen real quick here. Keep going.
Yeah.
And there's our first character, the Warden, Principal Martin on the right.
While you're pulling that up, our good buddy Nigel, aka Nain Wooten, said that we were mentioned in a sci-fi, like the TV network sci-fi article.
Right now,
yeah, that's crazy.
Hell yeah! Thanks for letting us know, man. Ethan's looking for it. I'm gonna look for it.
Jigspaz asks if all the pieces land in a person. Yes, there are no lost pieces. Well, I mean that's one of those things that.
Yeah, that's
something you can play with.
Yeah, of course, because for how many years was there only ever the Green Lanterns?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there are other totems. Maybe there are other things. These are all great.
How many years of Venom lore went by without a fucking symbiote dragon?
Or symbiote sword. Okay, now here's Kid Atomic.
So Ryan, why don't you start with Principal Martin and why don't you talk a little bit about him, and then I'll tag in as needed, and we can go through the characters that we've done very quickly.
Principal Martin here is a guy who is beloved by all. Seems like a very nice guy. Actually, has a dark side. His wife left him. He's very bitter and angry, and when he gets these powers, he manifests as this sort of demon here, but he's not gonna have a tail. So that's pretty much his deal. Then we've got Kid Atomic, whose father is.
Go ahead. One more thing about Principal Martin is that he does as his power as Principal Martin. Like you said, he is very kindly and is a really gentle soul, but is also ripped and shredded because he goes home and he has anger issues.
Yeah.
But also his powers are kind of, when he turns into a warden, are also kind of based around the powers that a principal has, which would be to be able to eject you from class, to be able to send you to detention. And so when he turns into a warden, his powers are that he can, through his mouth, kind of like distends like a snake's jaw, kind of come on hinges, and he sucks you into a portal that kind of puts you into a detention dimension kind of a thing. So he also has employed all of the hall monitors, who now wear kind of some sort of a we don't really know what that looks like yet, but he has these minions that are kind of under his thrall, because he knows that he can like sense the other pieces around the high school. So these hall monitors, these snitches, all kind of work for him in some capacity. So go ahead.
Okay. Next up, we have Kid Atomic, and Kid Atomic's he's a kind of like a rich kid, and his father was a white collar criminal who is now in jail. And Kid Atomic, his name is Oliver. Wanted to be. He was trying to help out his family. He ends up getting in some trouble. Long story short, he's in detention at the time that this hits. He becomes Kid Atomic, and the Kid Atomic moniker, the disguise or costume, is a result of his love of manga and anime. He's a child still who is now thrust into being an adult as his father is out of the house, and
Right.
so but the really underneath he's still that kid that loves anime, and so this is his favorite character of all time, and he ends up being that character. And
Right.
this, by the way, these colors on this are by Victor Aquino. Hugo Aquino, sorry.
Oliver. So in between, so like in freshman year, Oliver was still rich, and his dad was still a baller and everything. And now we're in sophomore year, and everything has gone to shit. And like in freshman year, he was kind of a cocky Tony Stark, like driving up in Mercedes and stuff. And now he's riding the school bus, and everyone kind of clowns on him. And Oliver's Japanese American, and the way that his dad's kind of an absentee father because he's a workaholic, you know, but the way that he could always communicate with his dad was that his dad brought over these mangas that were about this character, this fictional character in our world called Kid Atomic. So he very literally turns into this symbolic thing that represents his father. But it's also, if you look at it, is very sleek in design and looks very rich and modern. And so it's also him yearning for the luxuries and, you know, and that kind of shit that he lost. I should mention also that something that we glossed over at the beginning is that these kids that all get these powers, obviously they all know that they have these powers, but they have to keep it a secret from anybody else. And so it's it's your classic ragtag team of kids who maybe some of them actually fucking hate each other because it's not Breakfast Club. I mean, these are some like real dick kids. Oliver was a piece of shit, but was like is on his road to being humbled. He finds himself in detention for writing essays for other people to try and help out money wise at the house. So that's how we get Kid Atomic. And Ryan, you want to tell us a little bit about how his suit works and the dynamics of that?
So basically, he can only work. He doesn't have consistent propulsion, so he can't actually fly. What he has is blasts from his hands that do propel him, so that he can like kind of fly around and he can push off of air. But it's just blasts, so it's like little bullets that come out of his hands, and then he has the wings on the back are really just gliders, so he can push himself up into the air with the energy and then glide, and he can also shoot the energy as sort of a bullet.
Right.
Next we got.
Right.
Go ahead.
Because before you go on, because just because they have these powers. It's kind of instantaneously. They don't have to think about it. As soon as they get the gem, it's very subconscious, and so they also subconsciously give themselves their own weaknesses. So like by the very nature that Oliver made his suit, this kind of like anime manga, like Gundam kind of a thing. It's machinery, and so it can get fucked up. Right, and so he has some limitations on that. Next up, who do we have, Ryan?
I just want to say real quick, Tyler had a good idea in here. He said, this is a cool idea. That would it be cooler if the Japanese manga that his dad put homemade sticky note translations in? So like, it was a actual Japanese manga, and his dad translated it for him. So it's got like all these little sticky notes from his dad. Oh, we lost your audio, Donny.
You lost my audio?
There you are.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty cool.
I like that idea a lot. That's really sweet. And it also kind of gives you a little bit of a backstory that maybe his dad did that for him when he was a baby, but then like halfway through the manga, the sticky notes stopped because he got busy doing his thing and he lost interest.
And he always carries this with him, so it's like a real beat up copy. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I like that a lot. That's great.
Great. I like that maybe because we talked about his dad being very white collar. If he was going to like Japan and doing these business meetings and such, and maybe he's bringing stuff back, or maybe he's got some sort of assistant that's doing those sorts of notes for him.
Sends them back, and his dad is not a kind of dad that would send like letters back saying like I miss you. But it would be like a note back to his mother, and then like a copy of Kid Atomic volume, 12 translated for him. That's kind of nice. Yeah. That's a nice little piece of structure. I like that, guys.
Well done, Tyler. There's some other good ideas in here, but we can't get to all of them. We got to get through the intro here. This next character is Murder. I'm gonna let you go ahead and describe her, Donnie, because I feel like every time I do it, I'm just missing stuff.
Okay, yeah, Murder is a girl named Sam in her real life, which I don't believe we still have a drawing of Sam.
No, we don't.
Right? We don't. So imagine Sam as just like every guy, every girl, and every guy who's listening to this live stream knows that guy or that girl who was the theater techie, who was like totally obsessed with it, who was always covered in paint and overalls and fucking covered and was a total fucking weirdo and wanted to be alone. To do our breakfast club kind of meets My Hero Academia allegory. This is our Ali Sheedy, the weirdo one. And she was only in detention because she was there because she's smarter than everyone, but she's incredibly shy. And she's only in the detention hall because she was taking college grade classes to try and get ahead, to try and get out there, to try and get out into the world. When she gets hit with the gemstones, she actually does not have a superhero name herself. If you were to ask her who she is, she would say, "I am Sam, we are Murder," because that entire coat that you're seeing there is, I keep on saying, like, in the past episodes, I've noticed that I've said, like, a couple of dozen or a couple of things. I would just say endless.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And endless amount of fucking, like, murder attack crows. And so in the drawing, you can see that she doesn't really have feet. And that's because the crows are physical. They're physical form. But she herself is more of a healer. She can phase through walls. She can hide. And she can go and summon help while her crows attack everyone else and help. And also her crows kind of act as protection around the school itself, even when they're not superpowered. So the crows are kind of the opposite of the principal's hall monitors, in that when you see William here, Henry Harrison Heist, it is just covered in crows, and the principal's like, what's with all these goddamn crows everywhere, So she just silently kind of controls them. There's a lot of potential for her character to start embracing the dark arts and to start becoming more of an offensive player as opposed to a defensive player. But for the most part, even when she's in human form, if Sam gets fucked with, then a crow will smash through like like
somebody smashing the like button.
Yeah. Well,
was that me smashing the like button, or was that a crow smashing stuff?
Hey, before we go on, I think someone in the comments just said something really important, and I think
I saw that too. Yeah.
Just for 1 second, hey guys, this is the first episode of Stegman and Your Amazing Friends since the quarantine where an issue of Venom has come out.
Hey-o.
I've got sound effects that I gotta play. Where are they? Go ahead.
You'll have to let us know what they are because we can't hear them.
Yeah, I'm putting in an applause here.
Oh yeah.
Now an air horn.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all the. It was so. I have to say, and I don't want to speak for Ryan, but I'm sure that his experience was the exact same. I have so missed waking up on a Wednesday to see people responding on Twitter and everywhere else and saying like, "Hey, the new issue was great," and and like asking questions and be like, "Who is this character?" And especially, I want to highlight the spectacular work of Mark Bagley in this issue, who just crushed it. And the issue, if you've read it, if those of you who have read it, it was never written to be a like, hey, we're back now after a quarantine issue, and thanks for hanging out and sticking with us and sticking by us issue. But like looking back on it now and reading it now, it really worked that way. It really
totally
worked
does.
as like Eddie looking right down the barrel of the camera, and I always wrote it as me saying thank you to the audience via Eddie for saying like, I know this has been insane. I know that this is like, we haven't been always at our best, and things have been bad, but there's always good things too. There's Dylan, there's this, there's this, but also in the middle of all this, hey, there's fun too. And the message that has been like the through line of Venom since Ryan and I's run of we're better when we're not alone, resonates in this issue in a way that I could have never predicted doing it. And so big thank you for everyone who's been leaving comments about Venom number 25. Maybe we'll have Sir Bagley on himself for a special episode. But first, also wanted to give a huge shout out for the dope double page spread that Ryan Stegman put in the back.
I honestly, you as a writer, you have so many things come out that you get reminded that you're good at your job constantly. It's been so fucking long for me at this point. So like I start doing this thing where I'm like, man, I suck. I got to change everything that I do, and it makes me take longer on my work. And just like getting this info today or getting people's responses today, I was like, you know what? I'm pretty all right at this. And then I was able to work. I worked much more efficiently today.
Well, I think that you fucking crushed that sequence of the things that are coming, and it's so cool to see on Twitter people speculating on like all the little pieces on that page, which is exactly what it was meant to be. Is like issue 25 is a celebration of where we've been, and like, hey, look at where we're going. Look at all the bigger and badder things that we have coming for you. And thank you guys so much for sticking with us on behalf of like, Iban and Juan and Devin and Danny and well, I mean, Ryan's right here. He can say it himself. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us, and thank you for waiting. And we hope that it was worth the wait.
Everybody wants to know who that guy in the lower right was, and boy, can we not tell you that.
Boy, we can't. But it is funny. Someone on Twitter did say it's a good thing he's wearing a mask now that virus is around.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a solid point. It's a solid fucking point.
Venom 25 was phenomenal, and I wanted to bring up before we get back into the story session thing as well. The chat did bring up that we were featured in a sci-fi article, and I wanted to point it out really fast because they it's really cool. It's in, just for people that want to. It's in the article. It says publishers prepare to roll out new comics, creators launch new projects, and more. And there's a whole paragraph devoted to what we're doing here with Bad Kids is what they call it, but now it's got a different title.
Yeah,
and they even give a shout out to our technical difficulties on this show, which I love.
It's part of the show.
We're learning.
Listen, Ryan and Donnie, I know that you guys are celebrities and you're used to having your faces plastered everywhere, but it's pretty wild to see my mug and Griffin's mug on a sci-fi article.
Oh yeah, you look so happy.
Special.
We do.
Yeah, my hair is so big.
Well, I'll tell you what. On the technical difficulties part of things, part of making comics is we've discussed this in the past is learning to accept the fact that you are going to fail in public for a while.
You make these also at breakneck speed, and that's exactly what we're doing here.
Yeah. So we're doing the best we can.
Also, the whole world is on the internet, ruining everything.
Big thank you to sci-fi.com for my first taste of fame. I feel good about it.
Oh, look at that! Look at you! You look so handsome, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Well, thank you guys so much for supporting us. To continue to support us. Big, huge news coming very, very, very soon about some of those things you saw in that spread. About exactly where the hell Ryan Stegman has been and what he's been drawing.
Just one spread. That's all. I've been doing that for.
That took you forever.
I would imagine that announcement is going to come the next few months or so, and I think you're all going to be very happy about it. In the meantime, I'm so glad you guys like number 25. And by the way, Ryan, to one thing that you said really quick that I want to correct you on. You said you're so used to people telling you how amazing you are on Twitter every day. You do not know what being a comic book writer on Twitter is like.
Yeah, I get. Yeah,
people telling you how amazing you are all day. It is people telling you all the reasons you're not.
You're right. I do get caught in your drive-bys every once in a while where I'm like, "Hey, what the?"
Yeah.
Also, here's what you do with Venom. Here's my idea.
Yeah. So anyway, we left off with murder, which I think we kicked off, which leads us to last week's episode, which was
Gridiron.
Gridiron. So you want to toss some of that up there?
Yeah, this is about where we're at with the design right now, but it's starting to take shape. I didn't have a ton of time to work on it this week.
You want to talk us through a little bit about the duo that is Gridiron?
Sure. So Gridiron is, what was his name again? Wallace.
Walter
Wallace.
Yeah.
Sorry, Walter Wallace is the younger one. Taylor Wallace, I think, is what we said.
Okay, Taylor Wallace and Walter Wallace are twin brothers. Taylor has had a lot of physical issues since he was little, and it's stunted his growth, and he's kind of on, crutches. His body didn't develop physically, but Taylor turned into a football star, is gigantic.
Just a mountain of a guy. Yeah.
Right.
This is not the sketch you did last week. This is your new sketch of Gridiron, and it's dope as fuck.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Good.
It's still not completely done, but it makes a lot more sense now. So he's like a Smash, he's kind of a Hulk type character. But the
hammer.
Right. The cool thing is that Walter, his brother, who is a much smaller human, he is there to sort of rein in his brother and coach him to help him, when he's out there in battle. Because without him, then this guy's just out of control and can't be stopped and really becomes useless.
He really is like a bruiser in a way that is super early days Hulk, where it didn't matter what was there. Mm-hmm. If it was there, it was gonna get smashed. I am attempting to relocate locations really quick because there's weird things happening in this room. So if my mic gets fucky, then that's why. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. Hold on.
I'll say this. So when he's when he's in costume, he's got that big shield on his right arm, and he's got that gigantic hammer with his left arm. He's just, flying in there, blocking with his, he can just run through stuff with his right arm, smash with his left arm. That's where we're at with this guy.
Yeah, but what's great about it is that that dynamic was there even before, like that transformation went down, right? Is that his little brother kind of got the smarts, where his older brother kind of got the brawn, right? And so his brother, always looked up to his big brother, and they're twins, right? And so actually, the smaller one, who has scoliosis and all that kind of stuff, is actually older by like 2 minutes or whatever it is, and like always holds it over him. And he's always been like really good at like studying footage of like his brother playing and like walking him through and like building plays and stuff. And so he'll be very integral to the story overall, in so much that he didn't get a piece of the gems, but he is a brilliant tactician just by virtue of having been able to do this for his brother, And so via their like crazy twin powers that they both already possess, it just gets heightened by that. So what's kind of fun visually is that you'll get to see the younger brother kind of play his older brother like Madden, like a Madden football game, and like control him. And as the series goes on, he'll become a little bit more important. Ryan and I have story ideas for where his story eventually goes that maybe we'll share in a later podcast. But he's going to be at the beginning kind of it's a little on the nose, I suppose, but a Professor X type of a character, but way more like in the field, like a coach, would be. Does that sound right, Brian? Am I?
Yeah. No, yeah. I always forget these little aspects. You somehow keep this all in your head, but yeah, no, that's all good. All right, so let's move on to creating today's.
Oh man, another new character. Let's do it.
What did we have in the chat while we were talking about that? I wasn't paying attention to any of that kind of bullshit. Was there anything in the chat, David?
They're just talking to me about when the hell I'm coming back.
Are you ever coming back to Venom, Ryan?
I have drawn so much stuff.
Probably.
Now, I have a quick question for you guys. What happened at the end of Absolute Carnage? How did that end?
Just a bunch of shit. I don't know.
Carnage won.
Yeah.
Carnage won. Carnage pretty much just like won the whole thing. I mean, actually, I started to say that as a joke, but I guess he kind of did.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
He did. He definitely did.
Yeah, he kind of got exactly what he wanted, which was
What did he want?
What did he want? Well, he wanted to free the god Null, to come and to free him from his Clintar cage to bring him to Earth.
But you're gonna drop that storyline, right?
But that's not going anywhere. Yeah.
That storyline's over. What else could be done?
Yeah, he was free.
With it? I mean, Null's he's going and he's just going in and enjoying his new free life.
Right.
It's actually a half story. It's like he's just going off, going off and exploring his fun time now. No.
Good for him. Very happy.
Oh, I'd probably just forget about all that shit.
All right, I want to see how good of a writer Donnie is right now. Abigail Mendoza asks, "Can we get a hint without context on Venom Beyond? Can you do this?"
Yes, of course I can. So all of the Bible that I built for Venom has been built in structures. So the first arc, Rex, was a look at deep symbiote lore. So it was like really focused on symbiote, right? And then we did the opposite of that, which was the Abyss, which is all about Eddie. And we did Absolute Carnage, which was this kind of a look back at like past sins and like past things that have like come back to haunt him. And Venom Beyond will be looking to the future. So we have an outer and so like looking out, looking in, looking back, looking forward. So that's the structure of that. And then that'll all kind of culminate in one big what all those pieces combine with will be something very special.
Interesting.
Ooh.
How was that, Ryan?
That was pretty good. Pretty good. You're welcome, guys. I got it out of him. All right. So we talked a little today about what we're going to do today. We didn't come up with a name yet, but you can go ahead and launch into, and I'll start. You know what? I'll just start drawing. So
that gets us caught up on the. Tell me one last time their last name.
Wallace.
Yeah.
The Wallace twins. Okay, so that gets us more or less caught up on the Wallace twins. And so now we are coming to our fifth and final piece of our final character of our main core.
Shit.
Of our main core character. This one, so for the majority of it, these kids have been like, like our big bruiser, the Wall, is not necessarily been making a lot of the right choices in so much as like he's been doing steroids and like got his younger brother involved in that, and like that's not cool, and that's not great. And certainly Oliver got caught for some bullshit, but like we promised you guys that this is not the Breakfast Club and that there's gonna be some really fucking bad kids in here, and this is the one. We don't know what her name is, but as in her real life, in her like civilian life, she is the kid that like you're not necessarily scared of that she's gonna like beat you up or do anything. She's just terrifying, and she's like been bounced around from school to school because no one knows her, and she's been kicked out of so many schools and maybe done time in juvie. She has tats like on her throat and like on her hands and everything, and like if you're a kid interested in getting some Molly or like getting your hands on some fucking meth or whatever the fuck, this is the girl that you go to. I don't know what her name is yet. I'm open to suggestions. But Ryan, do you want to? Are you gonna start drawing her superhero suit first, or
I'm drawing her regular form first.
Okay. Because I wanted to talk about a little bit why she's like that. Because a lot of this book is dealing with, troubled youth and all these things, and like getting into the background of. It's actually teaching me a lot about how to do team books, because the two team books that I've ever done at Marvel, in Humans and Guardians, I was not the most proud of, because I didn't know how to handle everyone's like private storyline by themselves. And this is actually you're actually watching me as a writer, like kind of learn how to balance these things better, because you don't. Wait, someone just said the name Zoe is reserved for psycho chicks, and let me put a pin in that, because naming her Zoe would mean a lot to me. But let me just finish my thought, and then I'll get to the Zoe thing, okay? But let's definitely name her Zoe. But for reasons that are going to be different for me, because this is going to be important. So actually, like in real time, seeing me and like the rest of the crew kind of like learn these skills, right? So this character actually came from and her avatar, the person that she turns into, actually came from a real life experience for me, because a lot of what we're dealing with these kids is who they turn into when they become these things is very much motivated by who they are in real life, in their personal life, right? Now, a lot of you guys don't know this about me, and there's no reason that you should. But I had a cousin named Zoe that I loved very much, that I looked up to a lot. She was about 4 years older or younger than me, which meant that like at like all the family gatherings and stuff, that Zoe and I were like best buds, and like she was into comic books and I was into comic books and stuff. And a couple years ago, Zoe very tragically took her own life. And so Zoe's always been a character that has been, you've seen the name Zoe in a lot of my books. I've named a lot of characters Zoe because of that, because I loved my cousin to death, and I love you wherever you are. And so I would really like to call this character Zoe, because what Ryan and I have decided about her when she becomes her super heroine persona is that, much like my story, she had someone in her life that she looked up to a lot that died very tragically, which was her mother. And so that's what kind of set her down this path of like lashing out, because she was left with like an abusive stepdad and has had like a really bad upbringing. And that's something that, like, you know, you see a kid who you just see as a punk or as a dipshit, you know, and that's something that like I try and keep in mind on Twitter and stuff like that, right? It's like, don't engage if someone's like filled with rage or someone's like very angry. I don't know what's going on with your life, and if you need to take that out on me for right now, that's okay. You know, that's fine. But what we don't see is the parts of the people that don't let us in. And so the baddest kid of our other kids group, the one that would absolutely be in the detention, like borderline about to go to, like, is definitely on a either going to do something to self-harm themselves or go to jail for hurting someone else. When they transform into the person that they think their mom always wanted them to be. And so what we actually end up having is our actual honest to goodness Superman, Supergirl, like heroic, like beautiful character.
She's
like ready to
embarrassed about her appearance in this.
I love that.
Wow.
I love that so much.
That's so good.
Yeah, and so when she powers on, she immediately goes into like group leader mode, because that's what her mom always wanted her to be, was this upstanding, like beautiful, upstanding young girl. And she, it's a spiral, man. When you start like going down that lane of like, the thing that took that future away from her was the death of her mom. And so every time she thinks of the death of her mom, it spirals her back, and she keeps on digging deeper and deeper and deeper into that, and all of a sudden she gets hit with this gemstone, and she gets to be this thing that she thinks that her mom would be proud of. And so we get this. So this is the baddest kid of our baddest kids is our group leader, is our Superman, is our super girl, whatever character, and we need to name her. But this is our star player. And it it hurts even more when it goes off, because when it goes off, everyone at high school still thinks that she's a piece of shit, but she knows that she has this thing inside of her, and that she can be this thing. And so as the book will so as the book really quick in the chat, JLG Spars 13. Sorry for the Zoe remark, Donnie. I had no idea. No, not at all. Thank you for prompting me, because that was a very natural way of talking about it, because I was going to talk about it anyway. Because this is Ryan and I had a call earlier today, and that's where I wanted to take this. I wanted to take this in that way. And we don't have a straight up just superhero character in this, and what sucks about it is that her Peter Parker of it all is that not only is when she's in her superhero form, whatever her character's name is, people respect her and look up to her, and the group follows her lead, and she is a beacon of hope and love. But when she turns back to it and goes back to school, people are still afraid of her and think of her as that loser, and the idea is that as the book goes along, hopefully it'll start to rub off on her.
Right.
And she'll start to get on it.
And she'll remember what her mother...
Because I wanted to say one more thing about her power set, though.
Okay, I would just want to say one thing. And somebody said a good name for her would be Absinthe. I don't hate that. But also, a decent name for her would be just Heroine.
Mm-hmm. Heroine would be a good name.
Ooh.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Shit.
And
Well, double meaning.
I think that we've built in these weaknesses for everyone. Gridiron loses control. Kid Atomic obviously has his limitations. Murder is intangible, but has these crows. Martin has these anger issues and everything. For our character here, I think that she has a weird aversion to violence.
Mm-hmm.
That when it comes time to actually fight, to throw a punch, it's really hard for her because of, and we'll keep it nebulous for a long time, but because of how her mother died. She grew up in a household of violence, and so you can just assume that she has the powers of Superman. She's super strong, has the super flight and everything, but she's not really okay with violence.
Yeah, so she would be one of those characters who only finds a way to save everybody without hurting anybody. But there's going to be times where she would actually have to hurt somebody.
Yeah. And so she's our big power up against Warden, who is hurting children. So that that'll be a big trigger for her, But mostly she's out there saving lives and doing what she can while Gridiron is doing this. But it does the idea of witnessing violence especially against children and against others, bugs her to a point where it somewhat stunts her superpowers, because of the memories of how her mother passed.
Right.
And I think that the name Heroine signals to you a little bit of how her mother passed, and the path that she led down. And so I think that's a great name for her. So
That's phenomenal.
We'll get into her superhero design right now, but I want you to think about people who are listening at home. Think about the team lineup that we have right now. We'll have these two African American twins. One who is this huge hulking monster who is like a Hulk with like purple veins going through, and the kind of like the Professor Xavier guy with his crutches, kind of leading the team as the brains of it all. We'll have this like anime-inspired, manga-inspired Kid Atomic. We'll have this gothic murder character, and then we have this Fortune character, and we have all of their kid personalities, and then now we have Heroine, who is the baddest kid of all, who is now our man, you know. And I actually know more about her mother's death than even Ryan knows, and
hang on one sec. Is
throughout the entirety of,
is it just mine that his audio's going? Is the audio okay for you guys?
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It might be mine. It might just be mine.
Good. It's all good.
Okay. So yeah. Imagine like that. I think that team lineup together visually is a really strong visual, and the other like the other kids is really strong. And we'll start to get. I know Ryan has very specific thoughts about what her visual should look like, but this is kind of the she is. Imagine if Wallace is our Professor Xavier, she is very much our Cyclops. She is very much team leader. Everyone falls in line behind her, you know.
In their team shot, she is the one up front. That, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. So you want to show us where you're kind of at? I know that I'm a little bit lagged behind on it.
Here, I can turn on my video. I'll hold this up for you. Hold on.
You're essentially drawing my wife.
There you go. Can you see it on Skype?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's Meg, my wife.
There you go.
My wife. So yeah, but I think that honestly, I think that you should go a little bit harder on her. I think that she should have like scars and shit on her.
Okay.
Like she's been through some bad times, and even have like a medical bracelet on her that she's just been like let out, you know, of something. I mean, like she is absolutely lashing out because of something, and we won't know what it is until obviously she becomes this embodiment of what her mother always wanted her to be, which is this heroine.
Maybe she's always got. Maybe she's on one of her wrists. She always has bandages that just kind of shows that she's, you know.
I think you got it when just you explaining the concept of it gets me all emotional. Like Jesus, I love that so much, and I think that like the duality of that character like anchors the hell out of like what this book is and what it can do.
I know. I definitely feel like it kind of brought us to a good point here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna draw.
Yeah. I think, and her being as surprised by it as anybody else, as her being this like team leader, and also just by the totem aspects of it, she should get like the biggest piece of it, and so automatically everyone else falls in line behind her, and so she's not really like. I mean, I don't want to say that she's a reluctant leader because she's also these things on her, these attributes about her are not only physical; they are what her mother, like what she always wishes she could have grown up to be for her mom. A leader, like a good person, and so. She is shine, and so I know that Ryan hasn't drawn it yet, but I'm thinking Star Girl, I'm thinking Supergirl, I'm thinking Power Girl, I'm thinking like bright whites and things like that.
I'm sure I'll fail miserably, and we'll just have to do it in the off week again. But
Eve Addy says, does she wear something of her mom on her, like her mom's wedding ring around her neck? I was always thinking that she would have maybe some sort of a locket.
Okay.
But lockets have been kind of been done a little bit, so maybe I'm totally open to maybe that's even how she activates her powers, is she opens that locket and it can be.
Yeah, there's definitely got to be something there.
Ryan, while you draw and while you guys answer comments, I'm gonna go get myself another refreshing Topo Chico, brought to you by the fine folks Topo Chico.
Not sponsored, please.
Nope.
Hopefully soon to be sponsored by the fine folk Topo Chico.
Did you say that you needed to go use Audible? Was that what you said?
I think that's what
I'm going to go listen to a book on tape by Audible.
You can't say book on tape. We talked about this.
Hey, so hey, while I'm going to get a drink, everyone in the comments, what do you think about that storyline? And what do you think about names for her and kind of costume design? So why don't you guys weigh in on that? While I go and grab myself a Topo Chico.
Not sponsored.
With the whole thing of her like transforming into the superhero version, and she's very like True Blue, like classic kind of Supergirl look. Like I like the idea because those are tattoos on her arms, right?
Yeah.
And I like the idea of the tattoos still being visible. I don't know if that matters to anybody, but I think that would like.
Oh no, I think that
like her having a.
I think that's the opposite. We want to cover that up. We want her to be a different person in this.
See, I get that, but I don't know. I was thinking like that still coming through would be kind of unique as far as like her look completely changes, but it's still like her. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think we have a sort of similar idea going on with Kid Atomic, where we were talking about having his one arm exposed so as to sort of show him kind of breaking through that shell of all of his material stuff. And this, I feel like maybe the tattoos, let me look at them, can be maybe somehow incorporated into the design of the suit, like on the sleeves of the suit somehow.
Maybe, but I really think that we want.
I can't see them. I don't know how intricate they are.
Well, so I mean, I just put a bunch of scribbles because Okay. But the thing that I'm thinking is I want like Superman. I want like the most 4-color.
Yeah.
Totally.
I get it. I'm done.
And I'm thinking a hood with a cape. Because
I think
cool.
that you're wrong, famed comics creator Ryan Stegman.
So, Murder is going to have a hooded cape. Is she not? No, she has a collar. We gave her a collar, right?
Yeah, she does not have a hood.
Okay. I dig a hood. I love me a nice hood.
Yeah, you are a hood.
Farthest from it. Farthest from it, probably, Ryan. I'm so white.
I didn't mean anything about race.
We got one comment in the chat that says her heroic form makes the trash tattoos into pretty tattoos. And I think that's a great idea. She could have some obscenities on her arm that change to like peace and love when she becomes a superhero.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Did anybody? Were there any kind of cool things that were brought up in the comments or anything?
Top Knot and Ethan here are trying to make me put tattoos on her superhero form, and I don't want to.
Well,
I don't want to either. I don't want to either. I think that she should be like what I think that those tattoos probably represent things that she did when she was not in a good place. Not that, look, I mean, you guys all know I'm covered in fucking tattoos, so I'm not anti-tattoo. But Zoe, this character, probably started getting those tattoos after the death of her mother.
Her mother wouldn't have approved of the tattoos.
Yeah, and so I don't. And I think we're doing a little bit something like that with the wall, or with
Gridiron.
Gridiron, where like his tattoos and stuff, or like his emblems form more into it and stuff.
I kind of love Mitch Gosser's in the chat talking about the possibility of giving her a denim jacket, sort of in the vein of Superboy or Rogue, maybe. And I kind of would love that. If maybe it's like her mom's jacket from the 80s, which would also go super well with the sort of 80s Breakfast Club sort of inspired vibe.
Let me just tell you this, and I'll just throw this out there because this is the point of all this thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The secret that I was going to reveal in volume 2 or 3 is that the story that she was always told by her stepdad was that her mom got hooked on shit and abused and overdosed and died or whatever. In reality, what actually happened was her mom was actually was part of the original Justice League and had a secret identity of her own, and in order to protect the 7th piece of the gem had to disappear and had to make herself disappear. And
oh my God.
and is communicating with her daughter through this slowly, and is been trapped in that realm that the Warden has put her in, and is trying to get her back, and is trying to communicate through. So she actually comes from where in her head she comes from a deadbeat lineage of screw ups and people, and her mom was a heroin addict and was never around, but always had high hopes for her to break the mold, to be the one that was going to be the one to be the good kid, when in reality what we have here is a Peter Parker situation where she was never there because she was the original heroine. Mm-hmm. She was the original part of the team going out there and saving the fight, and so she's trapped over there, and when she gets out, maybe we have this great moment by the time that Zoe / heroine figures that out and gets into that hell dimension to save her mom. Her mom has been corrupted by that dimension, and she has to face down her mom, and save this, So is that?
I don't know if people in the chat are actually confused or if they're joking, but when he says the original Justice League, he's not actually talking about the Justice League. He's talking about the original team of superheroes.
The analog.
The original. Yeah, the superheroes that are in it. Sorry. Wait, hold on. people are saying, Jig Spaz 13 Donnie, what the fuck, lol. And then Jig Spags, you're on steroids. Marva's giving you mental steroids. Is that a nice thing that you're saying?
I think that's a compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, it means that you're coming up with great stuff.
What are her powers though? I think her powers are just our standard, like superhuman ability, flight. Like she has all the strengths where everyone has weaknesses. So like where a Kid Atomic can only fly through a version of it, and Murder can attack through a version of it, and Gridiron has to be controlled by his brother. She is true blue superhero, super strong, like super, everything. But like we said, her step back is that violence is a trigger for her.
Right.
Like it's something that is like deeply embedded with her because of the stories that have been beaten into her by her abusive stepdad, which as we go along in the story are revealed to not be true. And so she'll start to overcome that,
Okay.
And she'll start to overcome and like face her mother and like face this like demon down. And just like every other character that we've had, we have room to grow. We have these like setbacks, and like how Kid Atomic will his costume will start to change the more that he learns that he doesn't have to seek his father's approval, and how Gridiron and his brother will learn to work as a unit more together than and we have special plans for the younger brother. JG, she has no weaknesses. Oh yes. No, she definitely has weaknesses, but they're mental. Like it's part of it's not like it's just shit she can't, like in real life she'll stab somebody. Like she's like she's been in gang fights, but now that she's wearing this, now that she looks like this thing that her mother always used to be like, and is also probably this thing that is imprinted upon her because her mother used to be this thing, right? Then she'll have to fight through that and learn through that herself.
Dakota Cross just said Gridiron's brother should be called Cerebrum, and that's pretty cool.
Gridiron and Cerebrum.
Fucking dig it.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I did that for sure. Yep, that's cool.
And that's like very adjacent to Professor X with Cerebro.
Maybe a little too adjacent.
Yeah, it's a little bit too on the nose, but yeah, it's fine. So why don't you show us where you're at with her superhero costume? Can I see that?
Let's see.
They have some sort of a symbol, and I think that symbol should be the symbol that everyone wears on their shoulder, but it should be centered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm thinking I keep we talked about a jacket and everything I try to do. I just think this is a spandex superhero costume.
I think you're right.
I completely agree. I think it's a straight down the line, like really cool superhero character, and then I think and that she should wear the symbol that everyone else has, but have it be centered on her chest, like a Superman emblem. And I do like the hood emblem of it because it still is emblematic of who she is when she's not heroine, when she still does want to kind of hide and still kind of not want to be, Yeah,
and it gives you a chance because she gets dark and you can shadow that. Put that big heavy shadow underneath the hood.
Jesse in the chat said maybe Coach
I
and
like
Gridiron
that.
if we want to move away from the Cerebrum kind of idea.
Yeah, calling him Coach is cool. I like calling
that.
him Coach. And I like calling him Coach even before the powers come in. Like having his older brother calling him Coach.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, someone said, perhaps she's repressed a memory or got memory altered by one of the league members when she saw her mother come home bad after a fight. I like that, but I'm going to play off your idea where when she first gets her powers as heroine, she's like capable of like commanding a team and like taking on that role in a way that she's not real sure why like she's able to do that so fast, you know?
Right.
And it'll be like weird for readers too that like everyone falls in line. Like her piece is special. Mm-hmm. Like if they're all different colored, maybe hers is the brightest, lightest one, you know? And something of that sort, you know, and like yeah, we can play with that idea of like while she's in battle, like if it starts getting to her too much, if she starts like going towards violence, she can start having like weird little like crazy like flashbacks to like a fight that she was in that she wasn't really there for, you know? And so we like lead up to this reveal that she's actually inheriting something as opposed to getting something new like everyone else is, you know?
Do we have any detailed ideas about the symbol that they all have, or these shards?
Nope, that's something I definitely got to design. I just put like a half halo for now. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. We'll Tyler James, I worry that the dual nicknames might get confusing though. How do you mean?
Dual nicknames, yeah.
Oh, I think he's talking about because Dakota was talking about calling him Coach and Cerebrum at different points in time.
No, I think just Coach. I just think Coach. I just think everyone calls him Coach. Like even like other team members on the team always call him Coach too, because he helps everyone out, and so like he's just Coach. You know, like
right. Like I like that his brother sees him as the brains of the duo. So like whenever he's telling him what they should do or whatever, he'll just be like, "Okay, Coach."
Yeah, thanks, Coach. You know, and like he can even be like a pub like whoever like the gym teacher or the football coach is also like embraces these notes that this little kid brings in because because he wasn't, you know, because he was hindered by his physicality, he embraced the science of the game, and he's the guy who like watches old games and like watches like has just like studied football.
He understands game theory.
Which is perfect for a superhero team. Like he knows this knows this well enough to where now he can be like, you know, and we can even have heroines say like everyone listen to Coach. Like I'll take point guard. Like I'll take point. Coach, like put everyone else in place.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So she's got. Like I'm thinking like. Here, I'll show you on here.
That's so good.
I'm thinking like white all down here and like red up here, down to here, or something.
Yeah.
And maybe a red or a blue cape or something. Maybe, you know, I don't want to go too much like Superman, but you know.
I think really simple because a lot of our characters have been very
complicated,
complex.
Yeah.
I think having her stand out right there in the middle. What do you think about a domino mask?
A domino mask, like one eye, you mean?
No, like how Robin's mask is.
Oh. Yeah, she could have a mask for sure.
I've always just really liked that look on female heroines. a domino mask.
We got a shot of the top of your head right now, Ryan.
Give a shit. I've always just liked that look, or something something to her face, like a domino mask where her eyes glow red out of it would be kind of cool, you know? Like.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling red, white, and like a gold maybe.
Yeah.
Gold
I love that the cape looks kind of spectre-y.
Yeah. I think with all our other characters, they are so specifically like kind of Ryan and I's designs, like our aesthetics, and having this one character who very, very much like from the old school 60s, 70s, like just like superhero classic character amongst the other ones, who is in reality like the baddest, like meanest one is really fun, you know, and like stretching out that pixel, you know, of.
I think this is the best character concept so far, and it's in episode 5, bitches. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll see when they're all done. They're all kind of in various stages, but this one's pretty cool.
I'd like to see a group shot, Ryan. I'd like to see a group shot of all of them together. Is that something that maybe we could do for next week? That's what I was
thinking. Is maybe one of them will just be me drawing the whole time, and we'll just kind of talk and.
Let's talk about.
Maybe we could talk about like story arcs.
Yeah.
Like the plans of the Indiegogo and where we're gonna go from there, and so maybe Griff, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think you're about to say the same thing I was.
Yeah, definitely. Along the lines of like next week being the sort of finale of Bad Kids stuff, we'll get the group shot drawn up, and we'll talk about some stories in the future of this idea.
Yeah, and then I think that we should talk about the future of what the format of this show is going to take, which we talked about. So. To reiterate, as Ryan, these look great. By the way, Bud, I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of a not Kirby crackle, but some sort of energy around her, like around her feet, maybe, like not even her hands, maybe like just like some kind of like a sparkly kind of a thing around her feet or something like that, just to like. Make her that much more of a shining hero, you know. But yeah. So the next steps of this thing, let's talk about that. So the other kids, which I think that we until further notice, we are gonna entitle this book "The Other Kids," and I wanted to say. Just because you guys have heard us talk about some spoiler stuff doesn't mean that we don't have a bunch of other tricks up our sleeves. In fact, Ryan and I have a whole lot of shit that you guys don't know about the future of this storyline. And so what's going to happen going forward from now, next week will be the end of the Other Kids session. We'll get a drawing of the whole team. Not quite a cover, but like a team shot, you know. And then we'll talk about what the plans are. And hopefully by that time we can announce who's actually going to be drawing this, because we are going to be putting this up as an Indiegogo. Ryan Stegman and I will be co-writing this book together with a badass artist attached to put the book out, a badass artist that will be both Ryan and I approved, so you know it's gonna look fucking great. And then we're gonna start on our next IP, which if you didn't listen to the last episode, the next
Sawed Off Shogun.
is going to be called Sawed Off Shogun. And we might have a guest artist joining us for that.
Is that what you were talking about in that Advocates Book Club when you were saying that you thought of the best like name for anything, and Megan was like, "No, don't say it yet." Was that Sawed Off Shogun?
Yeah, that was Sawed Off Shogun. Yeah. Because Sawed Off Shogun began life as a title for a different thing, and then the company that I was working with on that one, which was not Marvel, let me make that very clear, they didn't like that story, and so the name only worked with that story, and so I was like, well, I'm not gonna waste that fucking title. Sawed Off Shogun is too fucking badass. And so I talked to Ryan, and I was like, hey, how about that? Then the next Indiegogo that we get off the ground and get going. And he was like, fucking hell yeah. So next week we will display the full cast together. Mm-hmm. I think, Ryan, do you want to do just them in their special characters, or them in their special characters with them along with their? Like,
I'll probably just do their special characters for now, just because it would be impossible. We wouldn't have enough time for me to do both. I'm gonna have to lay it out beforehand, and then I'll draw it.
Okay.
I'll probably ink it on here, so I'll draw it out. We'll do it.
Fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, to have them the designs finalized would be good.
And we'll talk about future storylines and stuff like that, and what people can see coming. And this will be a great way to, when we launch the Indiegogo, you will have all these archives, these 4 or 5 or 5 or 6 episodes.
6 total episodes.
6 total episodes where you can see the entire creative process come around, and the Indiegogo will have awesome, all this original art will be available as tiers for the Indiegogo. All kinds of stuff like that. But look forward to that. But we're nearing the end of the.
Let me say something. Thanks to everybody that was in the chat today. This was a lively chat. It was awesome. Thanks for all the likes.
Yeah.
Thanks for smashing the like button.
Can I just say? Yeah. Can I just say? Can I get a really quick? Everyone in the chat. Do you guys like The Other Kids? I've
already seen several comments that people are really on board with that. We got one early on that said it was way better than Wallflowers, so I think people are pretty into it.
Yeah, I think The Other Kids is a cool title.
You guys could just the Other Kids. Yeah, and you know what? Tell your friends. We'll also, in the meantime, probably in between now and in the next episode, we have a big promotional push that's coming. Ryan and I will be doing a big interview circuit and talking about this and getting more eyes on it and everything. So you guys all here on the ground floor, consider yourself again, part of the creative process and stuff. And those of you that I have that Ryan and I have both told to email in and tell us when we have used your idea, please do that, so that we can give you special thanks or draw you in or whatever you like. But we're all really fucking excited about it, and we're all so thankful for you guys coming along and watching us create this thing kind of from the ground up. People in the I only worry it gets connected to the song about shooting up a school.
He's talking about
Pumped Up
the
Kicks. Yeah.
Foster the People song. All the other kids. The Pumped Up Kicks.
That's not the title of the song, but it's the lyric in the song.
Well, you know what though? An element of danger is always nice. You know,
Yeah.
we have a lead character named Heroin, so you know.
But get somebody to pick up the book. I mean.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't need anyone to pick up the book because you guys have already picked up the book. You know, the Indiegogo goes out, and you know, and then you know after we get it, we get it all done with a badass artist. We print it in single issues over at Image, and then it goes into a trade, and then who knows? This is the beginning of something really fucking great.
Yeah.
And I think that ending with Zoe and Heroin was a really great way of kind of rounding that whole thing out. So,
but we're not done yet. We got one more episode.
Yeah, we got one more episode. We'll talk about future storyline plans, and I would task all of our listeners out there to come up with cool stuff for the next chat, and to please tell your friends.
Tell your friends and do fan art.
One thing that do fan art, and by the way, we'll print that fan art in the back of the Indiegogo and in the back of the Image books and everything like that too, and you know, tell your friends and stuff. You know, we're not here asking for money. We're here asking you guys to help be in the Marvel Creative Summit. You know, come join us and make something fucking awesome.
Yeah, we'll start calling it when we have a company name. We'll call it the whatever Summit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I think that about calls it a show.
Want me to take us out of here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's another episode of Stegman and His Amazing Friends. Thanks for joining us, the folks in the live stream. Like Ryan said, fantastic chat, guys. We didn't find a natural place to get it in this episode, so before we go, can I get a chains in the chat, please? But thanks so much, guys. We'll be back again next week for the conclusion of the the Other Kids saga. It's going to be super awesome, super exciting. This whole thing has been just crazy start to finish. If you want to hear some of our other episodes, where can you find us? Well, you can find all of it on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and our website, stegmanandfriends.com. You can also email us at stegmanandfriends@gmail.com. We'll do a mailbag episode probably right after next week. We can drop a mailbag episode just to take just a bit of a break. And it'll be fantastic. It'll be the best goddamn show you've ever seen. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Stegman Show. That's where you can keep up to date and everything, and also don't miss a beat, because we're always tweeting about when we're going live. Sometimes Ryan even goes live without us. He's just been going rogue lately.
I got the family streams.
Hell yeah! I love that Baby Yoda sketch you did earlier this week.
That's really good.
And also, we're a little bit of a podcast network now. I don't know. It's the Amazing Friends Network. We got a couple of other shows, including Donny Cates. You have your own show now. It's the Devil's Advocates Book Club. You do that with your awesome wife, Megan. That is out every Monday. The first episode is out right now for those
with the most fire ass fucking theme song of all fucking time.
Yeah, we got some comments about that in the chat. People are blown away.
You've got Donnie. Look at Donnie's sunset behind him right now. That's unreal.
Are you kidding me? I'm jealous. Look at this man.
This is that life I'm living, babe. It's that life I'm living.
Hell yeah. You can check that out. A quick little thing.
Please tune in to the Devil's Advocates Book Club, hosted by me and my lovely and talented wife, Megan. We are collaborating on a book at Image together. We are doing deep dives into I'm kind of known as a Marvel guy. She's kind of known as an indie chick. So we trade places every week, and I read an indie book. She reads a Marvel book, selected by Ethan himself. Next week we are doing Deceased and Kill or Be Killed by Ed Brubaker. So be sure to join us for that. You can find me on Twitter at Don Cates. Thank you guys so much for joining in, and this has been a wonderful experience. I love you guys.
I agree. Real quick, Adam on YouTube in the chat asked, "When's it all coming to Apple?" Answer now. Devil's Advocates Book Club is on Apple Podcasts, and so is
our podcast,
The Supple Boys. The Supple Boys. That's with me and Ethan. We do that every week as well. You can hear us chat about our experiences with these boys and creating stuff.
It has all of the entertainment value and none of the fame.
So if that's what you're into, come on down to Supple Boys. You can follow us at Supple Boys on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Griff Sheridan, Ethan at Tales to Astonish, Donnie said at Don Cates, and it's Ryan Stegman's show. He's at Ryan Stegman. Ryan, do you have anything for the people before we leave it off for the week?
No.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining.
I got one last thing to leave everybody with. Happy Venom. Happy Venom week.
Yeah.
Very happy to be back on the stand with you guys. Hopefully we'll get to do a special episode with Bagley on talking about it, or Devin or somebody. Marvel Comics is back, and Venom is back on schedule. And keep those questions coming. Keep those mailbags coming for Venom, because we are back with a fucking vengeance, baby. And so keep a lookout for big announcements soon with Ryan and I. And as always, stay dope, stay inside, read comics, and we love you guys.
Thanks so much for joining, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Stay amazing, friends.
Not the catchphrase.
Official trademark title of the show.